Good afternoon, everybody. Actually, I guess we got one more minute till it's afternoon. I've been sitting here for 10 minutes waiting to go live. Okay, it worked. I muted my YouTube and it actually worked this time. So I was just watching, I'm in New York and our governor just went on and I was watching his briefing. So I want to say hello to Zen Incense Shop. I don't know if you're still around because you posted like a half hour ago. And hi, Nikki T. Welcome. I guess I should pop, right? Like everybody does here. Pop up everybody. And Nikki, hello. And Junk Trader, thank you so much for coming in. And of course, Jennifer, right? You guys are always on. Hey, Chris, what's up? So I was sitting around this morning trying to think, why? I don't know why I wait till Monday mornings to try and figure out what I'm going to talk about. But I thought, what am I going to talk about today? Because I just didn't really even know. And I thought, well, we'll just go on and let everybody kind of drive the conversation. And then I was like, well, you better have a backup plan because sometimes the people in the chat are not so chatty. And then I could just sit here with nothing. So I actually went and pulled up some news articles on reselling. And I thought maybe we could use those as a jump off start of what to talk about today. I was hoping to kind of go through and talk about like, well, I guess I was hoping that I would make these Mondays to talk about the weekend, my sales, and then to talk about what you guys did for sales. So I guess we could start with that. And then I was going to talk about hauls, but I didn't go out this weekend because I have so much stuff that I took 480 photos on Saturday of a bunch of stuff, all like non-clothing items that I took pictures of. I just sat at my table and snap. And I have 2.5 totes full of stuff. Most of them were smaller items that I need to list. So I'm actually thinking about hiring a virtual assistant. Maybe one from like the Philippines or something that is inexpensive so it doesn't cut into my cost so much, and just send them all the pictures and say, here you go, list for me. So that is what I'm thinking of doing, unless I could find like a teenager or something, but I'm new in the area. I don't know anybody. If I knew of somebody's child who was looking for a summer job, very part-time, like I don't even know how much I would pay. But if they came and just listed for me, I mean, they could literally, I could find even a stay-at-home mom and have her take, just take the totes to her house and list for me and pay her per listing or something. I don't know. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it, but I'd love to do something because I want to go out and source right now. I don't want to be sitting in listing. So that's where my struggle is. So how were your sales this weekend? How did everybody do? So while you guys are typing how your sales went, so Lay says, so after you list, do you save your photos or do you delete them? Well, you know, a couple years ago, I bought an iPhone XS Max or whatever it was called. Like it had like a ton of storage. My old phone, I had to like delete my photos constantly because I didn't have very much storage. This one has a lot of storage on it. So I do transfer everything to my laptop. But I don't, if you belong to my Yellow Brick Road reselling group, I did post in there yesterday on Facebook that I'm having an issue with my photos when I'm transferring them. They're actually coming up as NEIC, UICE, some acronym I was never familiar of. That's the format. So they're not in like JPEG or GIF or any of the, like the normal formats. It's a format that I guess iPhones use. And recently I had to change some settings on my phone so I could transfer the videos because I wasn't able to transfer videos from my phone to my computer for me to put into my editing software. So I ended up changing that setting and it resulted in changing the photo setting. So all of the photos I took are in this weird format that eBay doesn't recognize. So I guess there's some program out there that can change them. So what I've been doing is taking my listing, creating the whole listing on my laptop because I prefer to do it not I prefer to do my laptop, not my phone. So I create the listing and then I save it as a draft and then I just take my phone right then and there and upload the photo. So it's kind of been a pain. But once the photo is on my computer, I do have an external, I'm not sure where it is. I do have like an external hard drive that I back up stuff to. So due to eBay's fiasco, was it last June or the June before that, where they lost like all your photos but your main one? I do not delete my photos, hard delete them. I keep them around in case eBay ever loses something. So yeah, so that's what I do with my photos. So Nikki says all of my photos delete because I take pictures through Macari. Yeah, you know, a lot of people do that. Like even with eBay, they'll use just their phone to do the listing and then they take the picture right then and there and upload it and it doesn't even save it onto their computer. Oh, so all right. Flippin' Frozen says it was 2 years ago that eBay had that fiasco and lost all the photos, which was really a pain. And welcome, Flippin' Frozen, to the chat and to my channel. So nobody said how their sales were this weekend. And if you did, I missed it. So I had, I think 28 to 30 sales, I think, on all the platforms I had to package today. I had listed some stuff for anybody who jumped on my like 2.5 hour live last week where I was listing on Amazon through Inventory Lab. There was some bolos I shared, and there was one that I decided to go ahead and do FBM on. And I just wanted to let you know, out of those items, I sold out all of them. They went over the weekend, all of them. So that's primarily what I was packaging. And then I think I had maybe 8 or 9 sales on eBay. I had a couple from Macari, and I had 2 on Bonanza. Nothing on Etsy this weekend. So Junk says I had 18 eBay, no other platforms. Kind of slow. You know, I'm hearing a lot of people having slow. I feel like my sales overall, like on eBay, were slow because normally I would package probably like between 15 and 20. And I was doing like, what did I say, 8 or 9, something like that. I can't remember what it was exactly. Yeah, 11 items. I guess a lot of, now I say how were they, like 11 items, but you could have had 11 items with 100 listed, which would be amazing. But if you have like 5,000 listed and you had 11 items, yeah, that's not probably so amazing. On eBay, I have 30 going on and that's it. Yeah, I'd be really happy with 30. Wow. I mean, I had close to that and it was just busy. If you were on Victoria's show this morning, I was kind of complaining about it. Like I want sales, but then on Monday mornings, I'm kind of like, oh, why'd I have so many sales this weekend? Because now I got to fulfill them. I love Amazon because when I do Amazon FBA, I don't have to worry about it. And I prefer that. I'm trying to, as I'm getting older, I don't want to do eBay as much. But I have this like love for eBay. It's really weird because I would prefer not to ever have to like touch the product once I send it off to someplace. And eBay did a trial last year, and I talked to the company one of the companies, ShipBob, that was partnering with them on doing something like fulfillment by Amazon, but it was fulfillment by eBay, but I think they called it something else. I almost did that, but it turned out that, well, I was just starting Amazon and I just didn't really have the number to be able to do both platforms like that. Had I had some like really big wholesale accounts, then it would have been worked out really well. So I'd love to do that. I'm actually looking into Walmart and maybe doing Walmart. All right, so let's see. None going out. Oh, welcome. Welcome. I wasn't sure if you were still here because you said hi a half hour ago. So 2 on eBay. But I do not Amazon at all. Minimal Macari listings, a decent Posh closet. Yeah, I didn't have anything on Posh. I forgot to say that. Nothing on Posh. And I shared my whole closet. It takes me like an hour to share my whole closet. And I spent time doing my sharing on Sunday morning because I figure that's when people might want to sit around and purchase something. And nothing. Oh, that's really smart. I ship everything on Sunday, so I don't have to on Monday. Yeah, sometimes if I'm home, I'll come down here. But yesterday was supposed to be a rain out day, so I was just gonna sit on the couch, catch up on seriously like TV shows I've recorded since like February because I haven't been watching much TV. So my plan was to catch up on those TVs so I could delete them from our DVR and enlist. But my husband decided he was going to sit with me and watch what he wanted. So I didn't even get to watch my shows. And then we ended up going out. I have like a garden. We have 100 acres. I have a garden that's on the other side. I have one right in the backyard, but another one. And we haven't had rain in like 2 or 3 months. So I ended up going and watering that from we have a small stream. So he stood in the stream and filled the bucket, and I used that to water our plants. And then it was really hot, so I jumped in the pool and didn't even get as much listing done as I had hoped. I really wish it would have rained. Yeah, eBay got rid of that FB eBay. Yeah. I think it probably went when Devin went. He had a lot of ideas, and I think they decided, yeah, we don't want to be like Amazon, so let's not try and create things like Amazon, which is good. It's good. It's not so good for me because I was looking forward to something like that, but it's definitely good for the brand overall. So I do want to share some stuff. Sorry, I got an itch. Some stuff with you guys that I found online. Let me see. Let me share my screen. I don't know. I always have such a struggle with this. Here we go. Okay. So some new news that I came across as I was doing some searching this morning. And if you do sell on Amazon, one of the things that they are going to be cracking down on even more is counterfeit items. So in this, it says new Amazon counterfeit crimes unit has been established. And I wanted to show you, where was it? I made little notes on what to point out because I didn't want to have to read the whole thing. But so Amazon has announced a new counterfeit crimes unit to crack down on the small number of dodgy products to the site. They actually have a team comprised of former federal prosecutors, experienced investigators, and data analysts will join Amazon's extensive work to drive counterfeit to zero. And then I found it interesting that they're well, I guess not really interesting, but it's not just the products themselves, but what they call bad actors. So obviously somebody who comes on says the Amazon Counterfeit Crimes Unit will investigate cases where a bad actor has attempted to evade Amazon systems. You know, my sister just joined, I guess both of them. I think my other sister joined too recently, but my baby sister joined a couple weeks ago, and she was just like, this is incredible to get an account approved to sell on Amazon what you had to supply them. So I just don't understand how people are able to get by all those systems, but I guess they can, right? I mean, they're pros at it. That's what they do. And then I found this interesting. So this is on TameBay. So if you wanted to read the whole article, it's on TameBay. You know, so many times we hear about Chinese counterfeits and all this other stuff, but I wanted to highlight this sentence right here that it says, in May, Amazon identified counterfeiters based in Canada, China, the Dominican Republic, Germany, India, Italy, Japan, Korea, Spain, United Arab Emirates, United Kingdom, and the United States. So it's not, obviously, we all know that, right? I mean, it's not just China that is coming up with these counterfeits. So I thought that was kind of interesting. I know that I have gotten some counterfeit claims on my Amazon account, which just frustrates me because I'm like, obviously nothing. I'm buying it all from legitimate stuff, and some of them I've been able to get cleared, but other ones, yeah, they're still on my account. Just checking the chat right here. So, hey, Victoria. Just see that she popped in. So damaged box product. So as I was talking to my sister about selling on Amazon, I had to explain to her again why I guess not explain to her again, but just explain to her that it's so important that whatever you send to Amazon, that it is a brand new product that has no damage. So it can be brand new. I'm trying to find something. I actually sold something today that I bought that came a little damaged. I don't have anything right here, but I throw those on eBay. So if you buy something and you get it home and you find that the box was damaged, or sometimes it gets damaged after I bought it and I damaged it in the car or did something. But this actually is talking about Amazon warns sellers selling returns as new to stop. So if you're buying stuff from like liquidation centers, stuff like that, or I know there's times when I'll sell something on Amazon and it gets returned and then Amazon has it unfillable. So I have to pull it back and I get it back and I'm like, this is brand new. Like it's not even, I just need to re-poly bag it and I can sell it again. So Amazon is saying, I guess not to do that. But I find it interesting that there are items that get to my customer and the customer opens a return and it comes back because it doesn't fit or it's just not what they expected, something like that. Not because of its, not because of a address is undeliverable or something like that. But they'll get it and it'll come back and then they decide that it's still fillable. So they put it back into your inventory. It actually says returned to inventory. So that's interesting that they're cracking down on returns being sold as new, yet they are taking my items and putting them back on the shelf as new. So this article just pretty much talks about Amazon 5-point checklist to avoid selling returns as new. So where are you sourcing it from? Do you trust the supplier to make sure that it's a new item? Is the product accurately described? So obviously if you're buying used books and stuff, now I've made the mistake of listing something mistakenly when I first started as new or used, because in Inventory Lab, when you change, like when I was doing a lot of book sales and I would change it to a used book to use like new or used good or whatever, when you list your next item on Inventory Lab, it wouldn't go back to like new. It would just keep whatever your last listing was. So I could be listing books and then all of a sudden I could be listing something that's a brand new product to go in and I would have to remember to change that. And there were times I forgot to change that and I sent in brand new items as used good type of thing. So packaging, is the product in its original manufacturing packaging as listed on Amazon? Is the package robust enough to stay intact through the chain from manufacturer to customer? So that's a big one. Like that's why I say, like, again, if your packaging just doesn't look good, like it could be a brand new item, but if it has major shelf wear from even just sitting on a shelf, that could be a problem. And then have you taken all appropriate steps and quality checks to ensure that the product is stored, packed, and shipped appropriately and will not be damaged when shipped? So I broke this rule. I think it was probably March or April. I was doing a lot of FBM and I was doing some health and beauty products, primarily medicine and over-the-counter medicine. And I sent, I wish I had props here. So let's say, okay, so here's some Advil I have. This is my own personal Advil. And so if I had this, but it came in a box, and I was like, okay, this is pretty heavy. And I didn't have at the time, I was selling stuff so fast that I went through my boxes and I would have shipped this in a 6x4x4 box, but I ran out of boxes. So instead, I took the outer cardboard box that this would have been in, and I wrapped it in bubble wrap and I put it in a poly mailer and mailed it. Well, I had a customer complain that it looked like it was a used item because the box was crushed. So I had to write a whole POA to Amazon. It's still on my account and they never took it off. But I had to write a whole POA saying how I'm not selling used items as new and that it was my fault. I should have put it in a box and that I promise I will never put it in a poly bag again. I will only put it in a box. So again, I mean, it's a mark on my account. So I don't know. I got like 8 of them on my account right now. And thankfully, none of them have been big enough for them to say you're gone. But I do have 8 from simple things like that. Just checking this chat here. Okay, so somebody said they bought a pair of sandals that turned out to be fake. Yeah, I have purchased items on eBay and Amazon that have turned out to be fake. So I think you just need to make sure that you're buying them from a reputable source. I have a friend in California who purchases things from a like inventory or a liquidation place. And a lot of that stuff, like I purchased from 888 Lots, and some of that stuff it comes from Amazon. So I don't know if Amazon finds a counterfeit item, they're supposed to destroy it. But I don't trust Amazon enough to know that they wouldn't want to benefit financially from it and sell it to a liquidation company who then sells it to us where we think we're getting the real thing, but it could be not real. So just be careful of that. And then returns. When handling customer returns, are you ensuring that your product still meets new condition guidelines before returning it to inventory? So I'm assuming this is what Amazon is doing, is making sure that it does still meet those guidelines. So like I do, I mean, I'll get stuff back and I will throw it up on eBay because I'm like, this is still brand new. I just listed kids pajamas that were like completely brand new and still had their tags and like everything. Like you would never know that it was not brand new. So then I wanted to point out this website because I was poking around Amazon. It kind of went through this rabbit trail that brought me to this. So again, if you're on Amazon, I'm going to talk about other platforms. This is my last Amazon one in case you're not an Amazon seller. But Amazon does have this small business academy. And if you go to your Seller Central, there was a little message about some upcoming webinars. And I just wanted to point them out that they are here so you can go and check them out if it's anything that you want to attend. But they have this Amazon Small Business Academy presents business to business sales. I have a lot of business seller or business buyers that buy from me when I'm merchant fulfilling. I see where it says business seller or business buyer, business customer, whatever it is. Amazon Live, no idea what that is. Hosting live videos showcasing your brand and products. I didn't even know they had something like that. I don't really have a brand, so I wouldn't do something like that. But if you do have one, accessibility, how to utilize accessibility features on Amazon. No idea what that means, so probably would be good to attend. The National Business League presents selling in the Amazon Business Marketplace. Amazon Small Business Academy presents handmade. So, there's a whole section of handmade on Amazon. They have been trying to compete with Etsy. So if you are a handmade seller, you may want to check that out on July 27th. So yeah, I'm not going to go through all these because there's a few more. But so these are out there to sign up for webinars if it's something that you would like to attend. Yeah, most people believe that Amazon is a reputable source. They sure do. Amazon workers have no clue what is fake or real. That is true. They don't. So Mercari. So I wanted to talk about Mercari. I didn't know about this until I read it. It was from June 17th. But Mercari is piloting same day pickup and delivery service, right? So it's so funny how we talk about in the past, all I've heard about is eBay competing with Amazon and try to be Amazon. Well, looky here. Here's Mercari popping up, looking at doing some same day pickup and delivery. So they're doing a test run in San Francisco, and they reached out to some of their very active buyers in San Francisco and said, hey, do you want to be part of this? And what you can do is if you have an item that has to weigh less than 50 pounds with a maximum size, and they're using Postmates. So Postmates drivers, they're contracting with them. And it says down here that the service will normally cost $10.99, but Mercari is offering an introductory price of $4.99. So for $4.99, I don't know if you can pass it on to your buyer or if it's something that the seller would kind of deal with. Probably both, just like shipping. You could have it so somebody could get that day delivery. So you would sell something and let Postmates know, and they would come and pick it up and deliver it the same day to your buyer. So that's something they're kind of looking at. I can see that happening in some of the big cities. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out and if it's something that they roll out to some of the other cities. So definitely Macari looking at expanding. Like to see that. If you use Square, there is the payment service Square puts holds on sellers' funds. So I do know that some people have chosen to sell on different platforms and they use Square. And in this case, they're going to start holding as much as 30% of your money that it collects from customers. So I don't use Square, so it didn't really mean much to me. This was on e-commerce bites. You probably can just Google it and it'll come up on other websites. But if you use Square, just something you probably should be aware of that could be an issue for payments. And then Walmart. So Walmart is reaching out to Shopify merchants to open up onto their marketplace. I have some friends that are big into wholesale on Amazon, and they've applied to Walmart. I think they applied like a month ago and still haven't heard back. But that's something that I've been kind of interested in. I've been thinking about, well, last year I kind of dabbled in some wholesale, and some of them were a success and some of them weren't. But as I build my wholesale this year, I have been looking into maybe selling on Walmart. I think Walmart, my projection is Walmart at some point is going to beat out eBay. And they're going to be the biggest competitor to Amazon. Okay, and then this is the first I'd heard of this again, that the cost to ship internationally is going to go up in July. So if you are selling on like eBay and doing international shipping yourself, I'm assuming even if you're doing like GSP, that you might see an increase even in the GSP. Well, the customer, if they're doing GSP, is going to see an increase when they pay. What is that? I'm trying to think of what it is that eBay uses. Oh, I can't think of it. It's not, I was thinking of like stamps.com, but it's not stamps.com. It's another company that they use for that. I can't remember what it's called, but they have a contract with that company to do all their shipping for them. So this is something just to be aware of. And I don't know. It said down here that, where was it? It didn't say what the increase is. But it was talking about when the U.S. pressured the UPU to raise shipping costs for packets coming from China. Remember that? I do. But the UPU member, I don't remember what UPU stands for. Member countries agreed to a deal in which some countries would be allowed to self-declare rates as of July 1st. So I'm expecting maybe later this week we'll start to hear what the rates are. So just so you know, international rates are going to be going up. Pitney Bowes, that's what it is. Yes, thank you, Lee. Good morning, Texas Bandit. It's actually afternoon here now because it's 12:27 for me. So important reminders from the 2020 Spring Seller Update. So this was posted under your announcements last week on June 25th. And I was reading through these. I must have not have paid attention as much to some of the spring seller announcements when they were announced. Of course, we were, here in New York in the mass part of the pandemic. I know some other states are dealing with their rising numbers right now. We are actually in I think we might be the state with the lowest numbers right now. We had 8 deaths in the whole state of New York, including New York City, yesterday or today. I don't know. Whatever the governor said. So some changes. So these changes were supposed to happen on June 1st, and they have been pushed to July 20th. So one of them is your item not as described. You have 3 days to reply to the buyer's request to return those items. If you don't, then eBay can find in their favor and let them keep the item and take the money from your account. Okay. So that's really important that you make sure that you have 3 business days. Now, I don't know what happens if you are gone, like I went on a cruise in January. I put my store on vacation for a week, 10 days. Because I was out in the middle of the Atlantic, Caribbean Sea, all of that stuff, and I had no access. So what happens if you take more than 3 days off and you are in the middle of nowhere with no cell service, no internet or whatever, and you don't reply to somebody who purchased an item from you 3 weeks ago? What happens then? I don't know. But that has been pushed to now July 20th that goes into effect. But just to be aware that is coming, that you have 3 days. I mean, I usually respond the day of, like usually within an hour. But if I'm out and about and not able to access the internet or my phone or whatever, then that could be an issue. eBay integrated shipping carrier requirement. So I found this interesting. This is the one I wasn't really aware of because I had to look further into it. That so you'll be required to use eBay integrated shipping carriers that provide regular shipment scans in order to protect you from the item not received claims filed through eBay money back guarantee. So I was like, well, what in the heck is an eBay integrated shipping carrier? Like, does that mean I have to use eBay shipping? It does not. So then I clicked and made my way to this page. I'll just show you the title. It's under customer service, shipping, setting up your shipping options is what it talks about. And then down at the bottom, it talks about integrated shipping carriers. So says pretty much you need to use one of these carriers in order for you to be able to show that your item was received. So as long as it has tracking where it shows that it was received. So under domestic carriers, you can use the USPS, and then you can use all these different ones. So all the way from Parcel Post, Media Mail, First Class, Priority, Priority Express. You can use FedEx, UPS, DHL, On Track, which I've never heard of, Laser Ship, Speedy Delivery, Lone Star Overnight, and then international through USPS. I never even heard of a lot of those. Export carriers, import carriers, and then they were looking at domestic freight. So I was looking at these again. I've never heard of these. But I mean, so there's quite a few. Old Dominion, I've heard of them because I see their trucks. So I think we're okay as long as you use post office. So you can print your the postage from eBay, PayPal, Pirate Ship, Stamps.com, Pitney Bowes, whatever you want to ship it from, what platform type of thing, but it will still be covered as long as you're using USPS. And then the other one was, I thought there was 3 of them. Oh, I guess not. I guess it was just 2. For some reason, I thought there was 3. So, all right, we're done with that one then. Let me just make sure there's not any questions. I just rolled out of the rack. Been mowing hay all day. Boy, our hay isn't even growing around here. Although our farmer did spread some poo on his field next door. I think he's only gotten 1 cut so far, and I think he normally gets more, but we just have not had enough rain. Yep, no more vacation holds. We will have to close our stores down, and no more Pirate Ship. If you want INR protection. Yeah, so I think you're fine with Pirate Ship. Yeah, so you can still use Pirate Ship. Was integrated, which is why I believe, but Pirate Ship is integrated with eBay. Like they feed information. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it. Thing is, it did say in there, as long as you put in the tracking information, and then if you get an INR, an item not received case, you have to reply within 3 days with your tracking number, which makes no sense. If you've already put your tracking number in, like that's crazy, but whatever. Just make sure you give them the tracking number again. So then I was kind of clicking around and I came across this website on eBay. They have some new social media stuff. They hired a graphic artist to do some social media stuff that they could put out for people like us to share on our social media platforms, whether it's YouTube or Facebook, Instagram. They even mentioned TikTok, Snapchat, stuff like that. So you can download, which I downloaded. It downloads this right here as a big graphic, which is their I'm up and running on eBay. And then they have another one, which is a square that's just perfect for putting on your like Instagram, right? So it's great if you have a store and your store is like a brick and mortar store. And of course, during the pandemic, stores are closing or still closed or opening and going to have to reclose again. Those type of things that they could then put it on their Instagram or their Facebook page to let their customers know that, hey, I'm still open. I'm selling on eBay. So I actually downloaded these because I like to kind of just throw stuff like that on my Instagram and stuff. They have these little stickers. They had this video you can watch. I watched it. No big deal. It talks about why you should use social media a little bit and then some strategies on using social media. I have an Instagram and I post on my Instagram. I don't really post much else. I used to do Facebook, but I just didn't get any interaction. People weren't even liking it. Where at least on Instagram, I posted something yesterday. Let me see. I think I ended up getting, it was quite a few, ended up being a lot more likes than I expect. Oh, maybe it wasn't likes. It was, I know what it was. It wasn't likes. When I looked at my numbers this morning, I had some new followers, and that was because there was a post. Somebody posted something on like a Poshmark group or like hashtag for Poshmark, and it said, like this post and then follow everyone else that likes it. So I did that, and I got like 60 people following me back. So anytime I can reach out to other resellers, for me with my Yellow Brick Road, I like that. So the tracking is uploaded when we ship. That means it's integrated. I link my listings on Pinterest. So you link your listings on Pinterest. You know, I used to link on Pinterest every time I posted something on eBay, and this was and Poshmark. I think it was Poshmark, and this was probably like 2 years ago. The problem is it doesn't, there's no way unless you know, if anybody knows of a way. Now, I think it's the Jay from Bolorama. He used to say on his channel all the time that he knew how people found his items on eBay. And I'm like, well, how do you know that? But he would never say how he knew that. So if you know of a way that you can find out how people are getting to your eBay page, because I would love to know that. I would love to know, are they clicking it from my Instagram, from Pinterest? Are they doing a search on Google? Are they going right into eBay and putting it into the search? Like, I don't know how people are finding my items without asking them. And I'm not going to ask every buyer, but it would be really nice to know. So I am active on, well, I'd say pretty much Instagram is probably the only one, because I have found the other ones. I don't know. I don't even know if they were good or not. So there are tips here on Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter, blogging, YouTube. I should read through this YouTube one. So this is kind of interesting to do this. And then over here it said, add stickers and gifts to your Instagram, Snap, Facebook post, or stories and more. Download the collection at giphy.com/eBay. So I'm going to show you what they have. All right, so this is the giphy.com/eBay. I saved, so there was no way to save all of these. So on the other page, you could save those 2 graphics. They had a zip file you could download. I could not find anywhere on here where you could download all of them at once. Okay. So I went and saved every single one, and then I went on my phone and saved some of them too, so I could use them on like Instagram. But when I uploaded them to Instagram, and maybe I'm not doing something right, it did not give me the All right, so let me show you the one I used. There's a baseball card one down here somewhere. Maybe. Maybe I would buy it. All right, so let me go back up. So I posted one. Oh, this one right here. So see this one with this kid or whatever is swinging a baseball. So I saved it on my phone, but then when I uploaded it to Instagram, it's not moving. It's just literally like, a static one. So I'm probably doing something wrong. But when I saved these to my computer, though, they did save correctly. So there's some really cool ones, and I've asked for these many times. When they had their promotion last year about have you checked eBay? Remember that one? They have this down here. Some of these you can't use. I don't know. So I buy pumpkin spice and resell it. And so I liked this little pumpkin spice with eBay. Like this must-have meter. I don't know. I thought they might even be good to throw on when I'm making thumbnails for eBay. I don't know. Oh, yeah. So right here. So, but did you check eBay? Right. And this is how I felt today with this money coming out of the box. Although it was more of an Amazon. Although the box more was Amazon because my sales profit on Amazon sales today were much, much higher than eBay. So this is out there if anybody wants to create some stuff. It's just nice. It kind of ties in, and I forgot to pull up the screen for it, but eBay has a new eBay network where, hold on, I'm going to stop this for a second. So eBay has a new program where you can sign up for their eBay network. And when let's say you're going to post stuff on Instagram or Twitter. I know people are doing TikTok. Like Emily Conway does TikTok all the time. And I did a search for reselling on TikTok, and all it was sneaker people selling sneakers. But if you're going to post on your Facebook page and all that, instead of giving them a link directly to your Facebook item, to your eBay item, you would give them a link to it via this eBay network. And if it sells from your post to people, then you don't have to pay a final value fee. Right. I sold that $1,200 pool the other day. That would have been really cool not to have to pay a final value fee on that. So I think that if you're going to be part of that eBay network, using some of those gifts to get people's attention on stuff that you put out there could be very beneficial. All right, I got a couple more things to show you. All right, so then Instagram, we were talking about Instagram. I was reading through this article that talks about Instagram shopping, a new dawn for social commerce. So between Facebook and Instagram, they seem like they're kind of getting away from the e-commerce, and their whole stuff is this social commerce. So I read through this article, and it talked about how they want social photos. So they don't want photos on like white backgrounds. So if you're going to try and sell on Instagram, they don't want your eBay photos on Instagram, which that's what I've been doing because I don't take second photos. But I've heard of a lot of people making some good money on Instagram and just selling on Instagram and not even selling on eBay. But they are using like, it's more of kind of like this picture here, but like maybe this person is trying it on, or she's in the park with her purse or whatever, that kind of thing. Almost like what Poshmark was really big when they first started. That's what you saw on Poshmark, but it's kind of veered more toward almost like the eBay-ish photos on Poshmark, because I think a lot of people cross post. But and then of course on Instagram you can do videos. So they're even pushing like having the videos. So I thought that was kind of interesting, and I'm going to look into that. I knew that there's been people selling on Instagram. I don't sell on Instagram. I just post stuff on Instagram and feed them back to my other platforms that I sell on, mostly eBay, but I've never actually listed something on Instagram to sell on Instagram. And then there's also on Facebook there, and I have done Facebook Marketplace, but there's another whole section of Facebook, which is where you ship it to a customer. So it's not really the whole like local pickup. And I know for a while they were doing free shipping, some promotion for free shipping. I didn't jump in because I already had too much on my plate. But if that's something you're interested in, you should check it out. I do know that somebody in one of the Facebook groups, or maybe it was even in a chat on a YouTube channel I was watching, said that they were doing that Facebook with the free shipping. So then I wanted to share with you, let me just close these. I found this interesting on this e-commerce bites. I don't know what the date of this was. Oh, this was back in February. So this was even before the pandemic. So this is the Seller's Choice Awards for 2020. Let me just check, make sure there's no questions. Okay. So I found this interesting. So again, this was back in February. So eBay topped the list this year, which is kind of weird since e-commerce bites is usually very anti-eBay, that eBayers would still be hanging out there and had voted for eBay. But overall, eBay topped the list as the platform to sell on as a seller, followed by Bonanza and Ruby Lane. Like I've never even looked at Ruby Lane. I don't even think I've ever gone to the website. So guess where I'm going to be going later on today? Ruby Lane. I'm going to check that out and see what it is they sell. And if it's something, I know I've heard of it, but I don't think I've ever followed up. So they take into account 4 key criteria: profitability, customer service, communication, and ease of use. Coming in 4th place was Mercari, followed by Etsy, Poshmark, Amazon, which I was really surprised to see Amazon so low. I mean, there's some great profitability in Amazon, but really the customer service, communication, and ease of use is a pain in the rear on Amazon. Craigslist, Facebook, and eCrater, which I think isn't eCrater more like an Etsy? I don't even know. So I'm just going to come down here. Oh, I just wanted to say though that Etsy last year was in 1st place and it dropped down to 5th place. And Bonanza was in 6th place and it moved up to 2nd place. So if you are not cross-posting to Bonanza, you need to cross-post to Bonanza. I ran a report today because of my show last week about accounting and finances and taxes. I'm like, I really need to catch up with my paperwork. So I ran a report for Bonanza for just this year so far, and I've done over like $6,000 on Bonanza. I was in sales. I was pretty excited to see that. I knew I'd been selling a lot more than normal, but I didn't realize how much more. But it's almost, well, I don't even want to guess. Because when I guess, I'm usually pretty wrong. Somebody called me out on my video yesterday, or was it the day before, because I'd said I shipped that pool. I think I said I shipped it for $24, which I don't even know why I said that. Ended up being, it was like 80 something. I don't know. I put it in the comments how much I actually ended up shipping it for. But I was thinking it was going to cost me like a lot more money to send a 130-pound box. And I was really surprised. But when somebody's buying a $1,200 pool from you and you pay $200 for it, I would have been fine with paying $200, even $300 to ship it, because it was still a really good profit. But it was less than $100. All right, so this is the chart that tells you how they ranked. And it would be interesting to know how many people voted on this chart. So eBay was number 1 on profitability. So anything that's yellow means that it scored number 1. Bonanza was number 1 for customer service, communication, and ease of use, which I found really interesting. So I'm assuming the ease of use is because it's so simple to go and click a few buttons and cross-post all of your eBay automatically to Bonanza. I'm assuming that's why it got a really good score. I've never actually listed something on Bonanza. It's always been a cross-post automatically from eBay to Bonanza. So I don't know how easy it is to actually list on Bonanza. that makes sense. And then recommended was eBay. Most people recommend eBay. And then overall, eBay got the highest, which is why it was number one. So these are just kind of interesting to see the numbers. And again, to see Amazon, I'm not surprised by these like fours. I mean, it's just a very difficult platform to navigate. And then seller's choice marketplace ratings. They talk again about what's the difference? Oh, alphabetical. They just put alphabetical. No biggie. Then so pretty much they're feeding you the same information, but in just different. They're showing off their graphing skills. So I thought that was kind of interesting. All right, so that was it for my little like news and stuff that I saw, and it was interesting just to kind of see that. I was really surprised to see eBay as number one. I thought for sure, if you were to ask me well, let me ask you, if somebody asked you, I should have asked this before you saw the answer. If somebody was to ask you as a seller, what is the best platform to list on? What would you have said? Or what would you have said most sellers would have said? Yeah, I can't list on Facebook. They flag every single thing. I tried selling a Seresto collar and they said it was against the community for selling animals. Yeah, I tried to list so I have, and I still have some of them. I have these like USB lighters, and I tried to sell those, and they said, because I put the word cigarette in it, because they're cigarette lighters, because like it's a USB, the old, in the car, in your older cars, when you had to push the cigarette lighter in, and it would get that red thing for people to really light a cigarette. It's like that, but you plug it into a USB, and then you flick it, and it turns that red dot. So it doesn't use lighter fluid or anything. So it's primarily for smoking cigarettes, because I don't know. I mean, you can't use it to smoke other things, cigars maybe. But they flagged that as cigarettes. I'm like, it's not cigarettes. And then I put a New York Jets shirt on there because I live in New York. So I thought, all right, maybe some local people might want this New York Jets shirt. And they took it down and said I can't sell fighter jets. Like, it's not fighter jets. It's a New York Jets shirt. So I guess if you are a New York Jet fan, don't go be looking on Facebook to purchase any items, because that got flagged and taken down. So yeah, I've had some issues. I think I ended up trying to think of what else I've sold. I just had to like reword the titles and stuff. It's got quiet in here. So what's everybody got on their agenda the rest of this week? Because today's Monday, and this whole show is about looking at last week and the weekend, and then what do you got coming up next week? I am going tomorrow morning, even though I have all those listings I got to put up. So those items that I sold over the weekend that sold so fast, the stores that I've been getting them at, I decided to take a road trip, and it's just a one-day one. I'm just going to make this big loop around this area and hit up some more of those stores and hope I find some more. My sister-in-law went to some stores in Vermont and found some and kept sending me pictures and calling me over the weekend. And she actually ended up hitting 5 stores for me and grabbed some. So she's got $400 cost of goods worth of stuff that she's going to bring to me next week. So I'm very excited about that. And then I'm taking off on Thursday. I don't know if anybody here lives in Pennsylvania, but I am heading to Pennsylvania on Thursday for the weekend. We have a Jeep Wrangler, and we like to travel and hit up off-road trails. So we will be in the backwoods of Pennsylvania hitting up off-road trails on Friday and Saturday. It's like a 6-hour drive to get there. So Thursday we'll drive down and spend there Friday and Saturday, and then come home on Sunday. And my in-laws are going to come and house sit and take care of our pets. So that'll be nice. Get to leave a long list of stuff for my father-in-law to do. He likes to tinker. I wish my mother-in-law knew how to do this stuff, because I got some listing to get done. But yeah, she would, it would be a challenge for her. So am I coming down to Utica? No, I'll be driving 81 straight down into Pennsylvania. So I will be in Pine Grove, Pennsylvania. So it's right down 81. We go to a park called Rausch Creek, Rausch. It's like an old mining area. They're old like mining trails and stuff like that, but they're obviously very degraded, and the worse the road, the better for us. We like the challenge. So yeah, a few days off sounds fantastic. And it'll be nice because I feel like I've been going nonstop since, well, the end of January. I took the cruise. And then when we got home from the cruise, it was on the flight home. We were joking with my sister because a couple people had a mask on the flight. And we were telling her that she was going to get, COVID. But I mean, at the time, COVID was still over in Washington State. It hadn't made its way over to the east side yet. So I got home and just everything just flew with the pandemic, and I've just been so busy. So eastern side of the state. Yeah, the eastern side. Although, are you on the western side? Because at the end of July, we're going down to Pennsylvania again. And we were supposed to do a Jeep event the first weekend of June, and that got pushed to the last week of July. And then we have another one the second week of July, or of August. So we're going to spend the whole week in Pennsylvania instead of coming all the way home. But we've been flirting with the idea of buying a small trailer and hooking it up to his Jeep. And then when we go when we go to these Jeep things, we could just park the trailer in the hotel parking lot. But then somebody said, well, people steal trailers like that. So then I don't know if there's something you can put on the trailer, like where the ball goes, that make it so somebody couldn't hook it up to their ball and take off with your trailer. So I don't know. Either that, or we could bring it to like the 4-wheel drive. They have a big parking lot, and we could park it there while we're off-roading. And then when we're off-roading, connect it back to the thing. So I don't know what we've kind of talked about it. I told him I'd like to just rent one from like Budget, those small ones that people like college students will use to bring their stuff to college. I was thinking about renting one of those just to kind of try it before we invest in one. But it would be nice because we have a lot of downtime sometimes in between when we're hitting the trails. Like we always seem to go down the day early and then we take a whole day back. And I would love to source all the way down because there's so many stores that I don't have here that there is down there. 15 minutes from New York State line. Okay, but on the western side. Yeah, so I told him I'd like to go to, there's actually an off-road park on the western side, right below New York. And I can't remember what it's called, but they have a Jeep Jamboree there. So I don't know. We might go to Gettysburg on Saturday. Because right now we're definitely off-roading on Friday because we have somebody from Virginia meeting up with us. But Saturday, the person from Long Island is a question mark right now. And if he's not able to make it, then we'll have Saturday to ourselves. And you have to hit these trails with more than one Jeep. And we would be by ourselves, so we won't hit the trail on Saturday. So we might go to Gettysburg. But we're thinking that it might be really crowded 4th of July at Gettysburg. I don't know. And I don't even know like what all the rules are right now in Pennsylvania. I heard that the western side of Pennsylvania might have to start wearing masks, or not masks, but they're talking about e-com and beyond, that some bars and restaurants are starting to be told they have to close down again. So that stinks. Thankfully, the hotels are still open. All right, let's see. 12:58. I don't really have anything else. So I hate to keep y'all here for 2 more minutes just to last the whole hour. At 1 o'clock in an hour, though, Larry LL Stash is going live. If you are looking for a fun, entertaining hour, you can go pop onto his channel and be entertained for a little while. I'm sure he would appreciate it. But that's all I have. And I will be back next Monday. And if anybody has any ideas of topics you'd like me to talk about, or, let me know down in the comments and I will do some investigating. If I don't know enough about the subject, I will do some reading and find out some information and bring you stuff on it. And we'll talk to you guys next Monday. All right. Thanks so much for coming. I appreciate it. Talk to you guys later.